Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Abraham, and the reason why I'm so much happy is because I've just from discovering. Did you know that Genesis is not part of the Old Testament? Did you know that? I know. Genesis is not part of the Old Testament books. Now, we also say that the Bible has 66 books and two testaments in this case, the Old Testament and the New Testament. But do you know that the New Testament is old than the Old Testament? The New Testament is old, was before the Old Testament came. And Galatians chapter 3 verse 17 confirms it. It says that the New Testament was confirmed way before the foundations of the earth. When was the Old Testament confirmed? The moment Moses came with the law. That was the time that the Old Testament was confirmed. But the New Testament was a promise to Abraham by God. And it was confirmed, as Galatians has just recorded, chapter 3, verse 17, way before the foundations of the earth. That means the Old Testament starts from the moment when these people began to follow the law of Moses. Which means, if I ask you the question, was Genesis part of the law? No, it wasn't. That simply means, of course, I know Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy are the books of Moses, the historical books that were written by Moses. But even though they were written by Moses, Genesis is out of this context of the Old Testament. The Old Testament is all about law and prophecies. It's all about law and prophecies. Why are we doing this? Because the Bible talks about, there's a verse in the book of Timothy that I need you to write down there. It talks about rightly dividing the word of truth. Why? Because every statement in the Bible is truly stated, but not every statement is a statement of truth. All right? Now, the Old Testament consists of the law and the prophets. We jump into the New Testament. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, blah, 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 to the Revelation. Now, let's deal with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they are the books that records about the physical interaction and the witness of Jesus Christ as he was now roaming on the earth. All right? They have the physical interaction and the records of the physical interaction and the physical life of Christ Jesus while he was on earth. Okay? Now, we jump into the book of Acts. This is where we draw the line. The book of Acts is what now brings the distinctions. Why? The book of Acts is the book of transition. It is a transitional book. It is a transitional book from the gospel of the kingdom to the gospel of grace. It is the transitional book from the water baptism to spiritual baptism. It is a transitional book from law to grace. It is a transitional book from Israel to the church, from Jews to Gentiles. It is the transition. Just take note of those. Jews to Gentiles, Israel to the church, water baptism to spiritual baptism, law to grace, and from the gospel of the kingdom to the gospel of grace. And now it ushers us into the book of Romans. From Romans all the way, it is now especially the Pauline books, the Pauline letters, the letters of Paul. They are the letters that now shows us where we belong as the Gentiles, because you and me, we are Gentiles, are Gentiles. All right, as long as you don't have the DNA of an Israelite, my friend, we are Gentiles. And you will come to understand your position as we continue to proceed. All right. Now, in the book of Revelation, which is now the last book of the Bible, it is full of mysteries. It is full of mysteries, but the message is one. It points on, or it talks more about how the things shall be at the end of the world, where now we shall reign with 1,000 years with Christ Jesus. I don't know, the beast and 666 and all those things. It records of all those things, the things that are yet to come, the things that shall come. All right. Basically, that is the foundation of the Bible. Can I do a recap as I wind up? Genesis, New Testament. All right. From Exodus to Malachi, law and prophets. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the physical account of Christ Jesus. All right. Then Acts, transitional book. And then from the book of Romans or Pauline letters, it is the gospel of grace. And then Revelation, it talks about the millennial era, the millennial age. So I want us to go through this journey together. and we shall unveil a lot of things, a lot of them. So this is the last, the very first lesson that we are doing, and we have just laid the foundation of most of the things that we shall be doing. All right. So accompany me as we go through the journey through the Bible. Let's just call it the journey through the Bible, because it is the journey through the Bible. We shall unveil a lot of things, and we shall come to understanding this statement yenye nimesema, that every statement in the Bible is truly stated, but not every statement is a statement of truth. All right. Till next time. Goodbye.